This is a tutorial on SHEBANQ that Scott and I are going to do. I was going to do a little tutorial anyway to just update the existing SHEBANQ tutorials that are on the web on my YouTube channel. But some of the interface of the website has changed, and so I thought I'll record, and at that moment Scott joined, and I'm happy to see him interact here with us, and perhaps it helps the entire class. So let's first go onto the SHEBANQ website, log in. Alrighty, so once logged in, you go to queries, and when you're at the query site, you see that you could search for your own queries by going into the filter. For example, yesterday's McDonald's query, McDonald's, and then you can say search in my queries, and we should see, here's our McDonald query. And you could just, open it in a browser and then continue working from there. Otherwise, if you want to create a new query, you can just click on the plus sign here, enter new query, and then the name, what is that, Burger King, and you always need to put an organization and project. I'm not going to show you now how to create an organization and how to create a project, because for most of us this is not necessary. So you could actually just pick an organization that is already present and a project that's already present. So you see there are a couple of organizations. Obviously some people were messing around, that's why you have organizations like A, and so on. But you see here, for example, Andrews University. We could pick Andrews University as an organization. You see when I click on this blue round circle, automatically the organization is taken over. And for project, everything that's below, that's indented, is a project. So for example, SHEBANQ tutorials. Let's click on SHEBANQ tutorials, and you see automatically the project goes over. Another way of doing it to be faster is, let's get this out. So let's create new Burger King, and you can just click on the project. For example, SHEBANQ tutorials. You just click on it, and automatically organization and project is being taken over. There is a course, OTST 625, that you could choose as your project. Let me see, 625. Here it is, OTST 625, Hebrew 3. So you could also just click here, and you'll see what happens. Things are being updated. You can still choose Andrews University as your organization. Where is it? Somewhere up here, Andrews University. You see now just Andrews University will be chosen, and the project still stays the same. Anyway, my suggestion would be just choose a project and organization that's already existing. Once that's done, you click the checkbox, and now basically your query has been stored. So now the query Burger King exists, but obviously it's not having any content. If you want to directly get to that query that you just created, Burger King, you just click here on the arrow, and now you move to that empty Burger King query. At this moment, Scott, jump in and let us know what your points were.
My questions.
Yeah, your questions. Yeah. While you do so, I'll just open the.
Yeah. So yeah, everything up until that point has been pretty clear. Just choose kind of the what the parent category and then the project category.
Yeah.
And you don't have to create your own. So that that's been kind of easy. I have one under Andrews University.
Okay. Yep.
Just with my name and test. I've tried testing out to see what I could do. So really the question I have is inputting the, I do not know the exact terminology, but yeah, under 2021, when you're entering the
writing a
code,
query, an actual query.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. I'm just, you see on the right, I have the tutorial. Actually, I just updated that this morning because some links, they needed updates. So I will post that into our Learning Hub class section after the session. But we can use this to just experiment with it. So for example, let's go to the first query that we have here. This one, for example. So you could just copy paste this. You see what's happening here right now?
I don't see the screen. It's just the internet browser.
Okay. I guess I was sharing a window and not the. So now you should see it. Yeah. Okay. So this is our query. Let's copy it. You see already that there's an issue here with right left, so it selected everything except Abraham, but that's fine. We'll move on. Put the pen. So now the query is here. In the copy pasting, some stuff went wrong. You see, for example, look at that, the Hebrew letters here. It's completely weird. So we need to fix this. But in our case, we can ignore this anyway. You saw in the tutorial that, let me see, how can I make this bigger? Can you see it okay? Or do I need to enlarge the window a bit?
Yeah, if you could enlarge it a little bit, that would be good.
Like this. So you see, when you use the double slash forward, you can just add comments. So basically everything you write with the double slash or passes the double slash is not being recognized as query, but just as comments. So we could just take this out for now. Now, this is basically what we had in our PDF here. Let's run the query. And I'm getting the Abraham scores. So you're saying this did not work for you, right? Or
yeah, I'm actually kind of trying to follow you right now, and so right now I'm having the issue of trying to actually edit in under 2021. My edits are happening under 4B.
Yeah, you can just go to 2021. As 4B, there's nothing wrong with it, but 2021 is the latest canonical database version, so you get the.
Okay, so just select 2021.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then you were saying just, so there was an issue with the Hebrew lettering, so you just got rid of the comment?
Yeah, you know, this is actually with every program. It does not necessarily have to do with the specific Hebrew lettering. Now it shows with the Hebrew lettering, but when you copy from one program, like particularly PDF, into, for example, word processor and any other program, you don't, as a user, you don't really know what's actually copied. There might be some codes behind there that are copied that you're not aware of. So yeah, you also want to double check whether actually what you copied is actually there. But in this case, let me do it again. So you see I'm here in the PDF. I'm just selecting come on, this part, copy, and then you see this is just yeah, that's just nonsense.
Right.
So it seems to copy Abraham once from left to right, A, B, and then, well, somehow, and then once from right to left.
Right.
So now this is...
So would that affect the query if it's just a comment because of the
No,
slash?
no. I can write here blah blah. Let's write here a comment, blah blah, and it won't affect it because everything after the / is ignored.
Okay.
It's still the same query. Yeah.
So let me try it on my end here.
Would you mind sharing your screen?
Sure.
Then we can see.
Just need you to give me
Yeah,
to share
that's
my
right.
screen.
Yeah. Here you go. Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right. So share. All right, can you see? Okay.
Yeah, I can see well. Yeah.
So this is what I have, and the Hebrew text. That seems right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Right.
essentially, just press the gear.
Yeah. Right.
All right, and that should. Oh wow. There you go. I tell you, I tried doing this earlier, and it didn't work.
So, just out of curiosity, just copy paste that what you have now in 2021.
Copy and paste it.
Yeah, just the whole thing exactly, and then put it in 4B. So you can first click on save on the disk symbol to make sure.
The check.
Yeah, that's fine too. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And then go to 4B. Yeah. Right. And now put the right.
And then try it again.
Yeah.
Okay, so it pretty much does the same thing.
Right. So
what's
these
the
are
difference
different
between
database
4B and
versions. 4B,
Okay.
C, the C version is, for example, the version that loggers and accordance have a copyright to. But the latest version is 2021.
Gotcha. Okay, so let me come back here. So one thing that I was trying to do as well, so now that the copying and pasting, I know that works and it's actually doing something. One question I had is when I'm looking at the examples, I notice how some of the lines are indented.
Yeah.
How do you go about indenting? Because when I press tab, it just...
yeah, right. So indentation is just actually empty spaces that I'm using. You don't need to use any empty spacing. So if I,
Here, I'll stop sharing my screen so you can share yours.
So when you... so, for example, let me take the blah blah out. So I could write the query like this too if I wanted. Yeah. So, and would still yield the same results. So everything's fine. The reason why I like indenting is just because a query can get pretty complicated, and then you just I'm just lost. My mind is lost. Where is actually what? So I like to, similar to the text syntactic analysis that we're doing for our homework. I'm trying to think, or I'm trying to visualize the linguistic structure that I'm after by means of indentation. So, for example, let's say we want to find out in anywhere in the Bible, let's say in the Old Testament, we want to find out where we have a clause in which Abraham is a subject. So in this case, what I would be doing is, okay, I want to find it any chapter that has a clause.
So is that just a space that you're doing?
Yeah,
You're
just an
pressing
empty space, just a space bar. Yeah, I was just, you might hear the clicking here, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, just a space bar. And then I know I want the word in the clause. It is already in the clause, even if I would write it like this, it's already in the clause because of the brackets. but I just want to visualize it. So, and then I want to close the, obviously I have to close the class container and then close the chapter container, and now I could run this. Yeah, I also like to keep the queries. I like to build it up. I build an element, then I run it, build the next element, because I might run into an error message. And if you have like a whole page written out already and you get an error message, it's very difficult to find out where actually that error is. So you see here parsing failed, syntax error near the token. So somewhere we have a problem, be that here or be that here. So or be that here. Well, I know that this works. So let's yeah, I know what the problem is, and that is we said we want to have a chapter that belongs to a specific book, but then we haven't defined the book. So we can just delete this. Now it should work, yeah. So I know, okay, this works. Now I get further because I wanted to have Abraham as a subject. So now I'm adding a subject phrase. Again, none of the indentation is necessary, but function is subject. And then I have the word in the subject. And then I want to close our subject phrase. So now visually in my mind knows this word is inside the subject phrase. We were looking for just the word Abraham, so that was 175 words. We should now have significantly less. Yeah, just 76 times where Abraham is actor. So more than 100 times something is done to Abraham. And let's say we want to know what the actions are that Abraham does. We could say, let's show us the predicates. Phrase function pred. And we don't want to specify the word, but we want to have it focused. And let's take this focus out. So what I'm saying now is...
So when you say focus, what does that mean?
Focus basically means highlight.
Okay.
Just a highlight, so that the results has a highlight. You saw right now Abraham is highlighted in the, but when we run the query now, Abraham will not be highlighted, but just the predicate in which Abraham is a subject. You see, Abraham is no longer. He is Abraham, but he is not highlighted. But the verb shuv here is highlighted.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you always need a highlight. Actually, if you don't have a highlight, no highlight, you won't see any results, because basically you're saying, hey, don't show me anything. So you see here, query executed, but you don't have a focus. So just put a focus. You can have several foci. For example, Abraham and the predicate. Now both will be highlighted.
Okay, and as far as the highlighting, is it all just one color?
Yeah, it's just all one color. So SHEBANQ is usually the platform that, particularly when you go into real research, that's a good starter. But then researchers very quickly want more sophistication, more data analysis tools, and they want, for example, like you're saying, I want this highlighted in red and that highlighted in green, and at that moment you transition from SHEBANQ to text fabric. But since this is not a linguistic research class, we are not going to learn text fabric.
Right. And as far as the so when you're writing out the code, like phrase function equals subject, is like I see, I think some of that in the SHEBANQ tutorial where it gives you the abbreviations. Is that what?
Yeah, right. I had the abbreviations. Yeah.
And at the beginning of the document, you also have the the data categories that are so.
Oh, you mean like this table?
Yeah, that table,
Yeah.
because that's kind of how like I started with sort of trying
Yeah.
to filter down, because you're starting off with the object types. So at least that's what I see is
Yeah.
you're starting from the top. You need to start with select all objects where, and um, then you put. Do you have to put verse first?
No,
Because
no,
I see it under object types.
no.
Or
You don't have to do that at all. It's just an option. So, for example, we could say, I don't want chapter. I, I don't want anything. I just want Abraham. So that's completely fine. So now it's basically skipping the categories of clauses and sentences and phrases and so on. It's just looking for Abraham. Yeah. So right now you could say, if you just use the word level, you're basically probably faster if you just use logos or accordance.
right, yeah.
Yeah. But at the moment where you go beyond word level, then then you bump into the limits of Bible software.
Okay. All right. And as far as the other, when you go back to the document,
Yep.
under features, one thing that sort of confused me was what is Lex or Lex underscore UTF-8.
Yeah.
I eventually found, just sort of by going through the SHEBANQ website and
Yeah.
trying to figure out what those were.
Yeah.
Is it on the document, like specifically?
Yeah, it's a link.
Like a legend.
It's a link. When you go here, SHEBANQ documentation, full documentation, and then click here, then you get to basically the reference book of the data, and here you can look. You see features.
Right.
Under
that's
features.
Where I found,
Yeah.
And that's where I found an explanation of those.
Yeah. So all things here are explained. For example, here Lex, and then it gives a short introduction into what it is, some examples. Right.
Okay. And so, all right. So just to make sure I'm understanding kind of like what SHEBANQ is doing, if we just go back to that window. So basically, as we're sort of going through and typing out the coding, we're basically filtering our results.
Yeah, that's right.
You're starting off with a broad category, and the brackets, what starts and ends it. Essentially, if you leave it open and you put a subcategory, you're basically refining inside that parent category.
Yeah,
correct.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. So it all has to eventually close.
Exactly. So if you let me see let me. Yesterday was just an introduction right into SHEBANQ and into how to run queries. Next week
there was a document that went into MQL, right? That sort of
right. That's just for the MQL, just a general idea of how MQL queries work. But for example, when I'm working with logos or with accordance for the implementation of the database, you need to explain actually what's in the database. So you have things like this. Things like this that I'm sharing. I just did an update to the latest Mac OS, so I think some programs. Yeah, okay. So this is actually how the database looks like. So you see the color. I mean, I did add some of the color codings to make it a little bit more readable. I also hided many columns, so there's much more information in there. But basically, when we are running these MQL queries or these queries, we are going through these columns / through these lines. So, for example, here in Genesis 20, Venasa Minsham Abraham Arza, so and Abraham pulled out from there towards the land of Ha'arza HaNegev, the south. So you see each line has a word. Vav and Nasa and Min and Sham and Abraham and Eretz. So, and each word is then morphologically analyzed. That's basically everything you see in red. That's morphological analysis. For example, this is the way how it's written out in the text, Vav and Patach. And then you have, here, is there a verbal ending? No, there's no verbal ending, min one. So each of those codes actually means something. Like, is this singular, is this plural? It all has a code. Look at this, for example. This is a locative hey, so there's a nominal ending, and that nominal ending is then put out here, or here, this is a suffix. So all that information is there. And then what is in green here, that's actually now phrase information. You see, this is a conjunction. Vav is a conjunction phrase. And Nasa is a predicate phrase. So, and then Min Sham from there, these are two words, and they are the complement phrase or indirect object phrase. So you see, this is empty because this belongs to this one. So anyway, this is how, and then you continue. This is now your clause level. So you see here the number 1314.
Yeah.
The 1314 ends here. So there's 315. So this is one clause.
Of the verse?
The end of the clause, yeah.
Oh, end of the clause.
And it's actually a Vayiktal X clause, right? So Vayisa. And then the next clause is this one. So,
right.
So this is kind of how the database is. If you say I'm not looking for clause, then basically this whole thing is being ignored. If you're just saying I want to search for Abraham, then all of this is ignored, and you're just looking now at the red section, and yeah.
All right, so that information is stored on SHEBANQ, and then when we're doing queries, it's essentially searching those different categories.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I know for our homework we have to do a valence search. You listed some suggestions on Learning Hub. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to at least try doing it.
Oh yeah, sure, so please.
That, maybe see if I can sort of implement what we've been talking about here. So you can see my screen, correct?
Yep.
All right, so I'm just going to select this just so I know what I'm doing. I'm going to copy that and here just sort of put that in the description.
Yeah, excellent.
At the top.
Very good.
So if I am doing this, let me delete that there. Let's see here. Okay, so I do not need to select a specific book, right? We want to do the research for the entire Old Testament.
Yeah. But when you're doing a valence analysis, then I mean this is definitely the way how you begin. It's a matter of the language community, right? It's not necessarily a matter of a particular text. At least you start with the language community, and then so you need much data. Yeah.
Right. So the next would be to go to the syntax, and I'm just going to be looking at phrase. Is that where I should be starting?
Yeah. You can start that way. You can, but you could also think conceptually. So the workings of valence always take place within the clause boundaries.
Oh, right. So you could start with a clause, and then I don't need to specify any type, relation, or domain, do I?
No, no.
No. So then I can go down here and then start another bracket with then phrase and function, right? Equals, and let's see here. I'm going to do the predicate first, naga. Predicate, and then I need to do another line, correct?
Right. You need to put something into that predicate phrase.
Right. And that would be the word, the object type, the word.
Right.
So I'm going to do word and focus. Does focus have to be in all caps?
I don't think so. I think it doesn't matter. We'll find out, but yeah.
I'll just do that, word focus. And then I want to do, let's see here, the lexeme. So one thing I think I remember seeing was we could copy. So I'm just going to open up a new tab here. Let's see here. It's kind of hard to see here. Let me just. My share Zoom icons are kind of blocking the top of it, so just moving it around.
We can, yeah, okay, it's blocking for you. We can see it well.
Yeah. So let's go to here, and then I can copy. Let's see here. I think I already went past it. Yeah. Right here.
Yep.
Copy that, and I can focus according to this. LEX underscore UTF8. That's the actual Hebrew.
Yeah. Right. Now you type Hebrew. Yeah.
And with a verb or predicate, is it a slash, or is it? I think I remember seeing.
Yeah. So
something like this.
That's right. Yeah. So, but I just updated the tutorial because for the 2021 version, this doesn't seem to be necessary if you're using Lex UTF-8. I'll send a note to the class here after we are done. Okay. So you need the / and the opening bracket if you use Lex. My preference is Lex, but if you don't use Lex, but Lex underscore UTF-8, you, as far as I saw, you don't need it anymore. So you could just skip it for now. We'll see.
So,
yeah.
Do I have to put the slash in it though?
No, because the slash would be assigned for this being a noun. So you just don't put. Yeah, right. So, yeah, that's
so
good.
just simply close it.
Yeah.
And then bracket that off. And then bracket that off.
Yeah.
So that would be the looking for this specific predicate.
Yeah.
In any clause in the Old Testament.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, there was so if there was something that I did see, I forget what it was called, but it was kind of like it was just 2 dots.
Yeah, 2 dots means any distance between the predicate phrase and whatever you put after that. But Scott, what I would suggest, kind of as best practices, don't continue writing. Just close up the clause for now and run the query and see whether you're getting the results.
So like this, correct?
Exactly, because there is an error in it, and we'll find out now. So actually you need to run the engineering wheel first. Yeah.
Yeah. And parsing failed. Near
Naga. So what is wrong is that you have not defined the relation between Lex, UTF-8, and Naga. So you basically just need the equalizing. Yeah, right. Yeah. So now run it again. Yeah, now everything's good.
There we
go. Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, so this seems to do the test. Now you know, okay, my query works. Now let's expand it.
Gotcha. All right. So then now, now I can go below this. And is it a good practice? So explain the two dots again.
Yeah.
Any distance, what is that?
So if you were to write a phrase now, perhaps put the phrase that you want to look for, and just
Right.
ignore the two dots. Yeah. Okay.
So phrase, function. Um, so that was, let's see here. Where's the table with the guide for that? I'm looking over here. Was there a sort of like an abbreviation? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to put complement, correct?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, complement would be an indirect object. You probably want to know both, but let's put complement there first. Yeah, CMPL.
Okay. What was the one that you were thinking that we should use?
Oh no,
Um,
that's fair. No, it's just from a valence perspective, there are different types of complements. So a complement could be a direct object. So you could then also search
mhm.
for object. It can use indirect object here in the database. That's CMPL. Um,
Mhm.
Subjects also
Okay.
complements. So yeah, but that's a good start. So
So that's actually a good point because I had a question about a complement versus a direct object.
yeah.
Um, uh, are complements simply just another way of saying indirect object, or
Yeah, so that's a good point. So basically, from a valence perspective, everything that's required for a verb to trigger a certain meaning is a complement. So
right?
for verb to have a specific meaning, you obviously need a subject. Otherwise, no action takes place. So subject is a complement.
Hmm.
A direct object can be a complement. Let's
Hmm.
say I kill the mouse. Well, you cannot kill without an object. So a direct object is most of the time a complement. Actually, always a complement. But an indirect object can also be a complement. So I speak to you. Yeah, to
Right.
you is yeah. So, however, in the database, there is a confusing element because it merges both valence talk as well as syntax talk. So an
Okay.
object, a direct object, will be abbreviated as objc object,
Yeah.
but actually object is a complement. Yeah. But when you just look for complements, CMPL, as you have it now, you will only look for indirect objects.
Okay.
So
So
there's a terminological confusion here.
yeah. So let me ask you this: because I'm looking for naga with any sort of word with
Yeah,
the
preposition.
be, um, that would be a indirect object.
Exactly, and therefore your CMPL does cover that whole thing.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
but if I wasn't doing be, let's say if it was just, I don't know, some other word that's could be an object or an indirect object, would I then put, so I would put a phrase function complement with that word focus, but then also I could do another line
Yeah.
phrase function object
Yeah.
with that same word,
Absolutely. Yeah.
correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. I think I'm beginning to understand this. So, okay. So complement, and then I'll put word focus,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just do lex underscore UTF-8 equals that. I'll go up here. Now, if I was to use this, because I see the Sheva underneath,
Yeah.
would that,
Yeah. You won't find it.
right?
If you
So I
want
should probably
to,
go back here.
yeah, exactly. You could use the vocal Shiva, but then you cannot use Lex UTF-8, but you need to use another thing. I think it's G underscore Lex underscore UTF-8 because that also takes into consideration vowels.
Oh,
But
okay.
I would not go that direction. Just keep it as simple because otherwise you start writing vowels and you need to have a keyboard and yeah.
Right, right, right. So, okay, so I have that here, and then close that, and let's see here. So
I would run the query again.
That. And okay, close. Okay, I'm going to save, and then run the query.
Yeah.
And look at that.
Yeah, look at that. So what you see now is in this, perhaps if you scroll a little further down, let me just see. Yeah. So you see we have now always naga, for example, Leviticus 5 verse 2. So we have naga, and then we actually have a couple of b phrases, right? B.
Okay, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you, in none of these results, you actually see the reverse, namely first the b phrase and then naga. But the reason why you don't see that has to do with the way how you wrote your query. Yeah, when you go to, so what it's doing now, it says, okay, I first find a clause. And so it finds all clauses in the Old Testament. Okay, so then as you said, it filters it down. So now let's filter it down. Now let's find all clauses have a predicate phrase. Okay, does that. So it has now found the predicate phrase. And then it says, okay, all predicate phrase I want naga. Okay, it has naga. Perfect. So done for the first step. What's coming next? What's coming after the predicate? 2 dots. So,
yeah.
Oh, okay, so I can, anything after it. It just needs to be before the ending of the clause. And then you have defined your complement and does the same thing. And then the results will show each clause that has first a naga predicate and followed by a b complement.
Gotcha.
But sometimes it might be the other way around. That's where particularly for valence analysis, that's why I use the word unordered, or the container unordered group usually, because that means if I put the predicate phrase and the complement phrase in an unordered group, doesn't matter which order they are, it will find it anyway.
Right. So how do you go about writing? So would I get rid of these 2 dots here?
Right. Yeah.
So let's sort of bring that up, and you write a category unordered group.
Exactly. You between clause and phrase, you basically the 2 phrases you want to contain in a new container that you call unordered group.
So what is that? You just call it unordered group?
You just call it unordered group. You need to write it together, unordered group.
Keep it together?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's case sensitive. I always write it differently, but let's see what's happening.
Hold on just a second.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure that I'm closing it here.
Perfect.
That's about right.
Yep.
I could have indented more, but so unordered group. All right, let's.
Yeah, perfect. Does it? So you see, you now also get more. It's 106 cases, and you will find cases where the order is reversed. They are included. I mean, we cannot see them here right away, but somewhere when you go through the different pages.
Right here.
Here. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Is that Leviticus 12:4?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All of the holy not you shall touch, right? 12:4. All of the holy not you shall touch. And to the sanctuary not you shall come until it's complete the days of your purification. There's one comment perhaps on your query. When you go back to your query box, right now you're very specific about how the complement phrase should be started, or what the complement phrase should contain, namely a b preposition. But at this moment we are pretty, let's say, when you start valence analysis, you start the way how you did it. That's perfect, because now you find exactly the type of formulation that we have encountered in Genesis 26 or 27.
Genesis 26:11.
Oh yeah, 26:11, right. But you don't know whether this represents actually the normal valences. So you want to agnosticize, so to say, the query by saying, take the b out.
So just
Just that, exactly. And then
Word
what you could
focus.
say is focus, because a complement phrase consists at least of two words, a preposition and then another word,
Mm-hmm.
usually a noun. You want to look at what type of prepositions are being used. So you could say word first, and then, or word focus first. Type after, focus first. Yeah. Run the query now.
So what is first doing?
First means that only the first word of the complement phrase is being highlighted.
Oh, okay. So that's just so rather than the entire complement.
Exactly. So you see now, Genesis 3:3, it's the b. Genesis 26, we have the l. So you can obviously also have naga l to touch towards. And then Genesis 32, it's naga b again, naga b. 425 naga l. So we might, if you continue looking at it, we might actually see that they are, the dominant valence seems to be naga b, but you have also the valence naga l and naga l in this case of 1222. So once you plow a little bit through your data and get a little bit of a sense what might be happening, you can then further specify. You could now go back to your search box and say, okay, naga b, I know that's pretty well established. So, but find me how often is actually the l appearing, and now we could add again lex l, and that's kind of how you massage through the data to get a better image.
And so, when we're doing the valence research, then, so as we're kind of gathering our findings, right? What is the goal is to understand how to properly understand the word in that given verse that we're correct,
right? Yeah.
But in that research process, we're looking at the way naga is used in all different complements.
Yeah.
To basically either verify or to maybe there is a different way of understanding naga than maybe traditionally just looking up a dictionary.
Exactly.
And saying it's to touch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's basically it's like, like how we conduct research normally. Research is very much statistics driven, right? So let's say you have a patient, your doctor, you have a patient, and that patient has an aching point at the liver. So, what to do now? Obviously, now you're going and look at all these liver pains that exist, and then see, okay, is this particular liver case representing this cluster of phenomena or this cluster, and then accordingly you build your treatment plan. And that's the same here too. For example, in Genesis 27, when Rivka speaks to Yaakov, she says, Shama bekol. And several translations translate, listen to my voice. But if you carry out a valence analysis, you see actually it always means obey. So this is a different social relation now. It's like, you're a soldier, I'm the general, you just do. So something like that. And that will change so the narrator presents to us Rivka, who takes away the freedom of Jacob. So Jacob must do what mommy says. So but that's I just want to show you one feature. This is kind of an advanced feature, but it might.
You want me to stop? You want me to stop sharing?
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. So what you can do is you see, besides 2021, the database number 2021, you see these things. So actually you can export. So if you run your query again, just the engineering wheel to make sure that we have the latest version. Yeah. So what we are finding is now all cases where naga appears with any complement, right? Be it with b, l, l, whatever. So you could now run several queries to find out how many naga plus b, how many naga plus l, and so on. or you download the whole batch. So when you go to these 3 signs, yeah, you can, if you click on that, it will actually, you see, now you have the entire Excel sheet of results. You could open that.
I don't know if you'd be able to see it here. Maybe
Okay.
new share.
Okay.
Actually, hold on, I should probably just do...
Yeah, just share your Excel window. Or
Yeah. Let's share screen. Is that good?
Yeah. Okay, good. So you see all the Hebrew stuff is not shown well. That's because it's UTF-8 and Excel is not showing UTF-8. You need to tweak that. If you go to your download folder where that file is, and do a right click and then open with, let's see whether you have some other options. Okay, you don't have Excel. So go in Excel again.
Go into Excel?
Yeah, close that window. Yeah. Just the Excel window.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then do a right click. Yeah, on that one, right click. Yeah, do again open with Excel. And I hope that it shows you an import. Yeah, you have to tweak it. I don't know how to tweak that here. Okay, go back to SHEBANQ and just download. Click on the other on the table sign. Yeah. And now go back to your download folder.
Go to the download folder.
Yeah, and open the other one. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the unfortunate thing is that you're not seeing the Hebrew fonts. You can. I'm using I'm using LibreOffice, but you have to do a Google search. How can I do a UTF-8 display of stuff?
Okay, so I'd have to do that.
Yeah.
UTF-8 Hebrew.
UTF-8. Yeah. Well, it just UTF-8 because UTF-8 is any language. UTF-8 Excel. Yeah,
Excel?
and CSV. Yeah, do it right. Right. Open using top left of your select save as. Okay, click on save. Yeah, but we want to open it. How do I get UTF-8 characters in Excel? So what about that? If people also ask, what if you click that? Yeah. So no, get Excel. Okay, good. So go back to Excel. Yeah. Then close that window. Just the window. I mean, close the file. Sorry. Yeah. So now file open. Yeah, and now the one that we had last, you see here, yeah, right, exactly. So, and yeah, click that.
Just click it?
Yeah, I think click, and then you should have an import option probably. Yeah, if you click on it.
Let me. Maybe it's something I can figure out.
Yeah, I would say so too. Yeah. But let me show it on my screen.
Sure.
Then the class knows how this works. So let's say here we have Abraham. Let's have. Let me select all objects. Class. Let me just rebuild what you had. Class. Oh, I need to share my screen. Sorry. Alrighty. So class, and then phrase function is pred, and then we had phrase function is cmpl, and then that was it. Closing unordered group. Okay, and then in the predicate phrase we want to have a word, and here we also want to have a word. Word focus first. So, and then we just have to add our word in there. Word lex is naga. So I think we have, I've reproduced your query. Let's see. So there's an error here. Unordered group, phrase function, Bradwood. Ah, here, closing is missing. Phrase complement first. Okay, I think let's do. Executed and no results. I think that has to do with the fact that I wrote naga wrong. So yeah, here we have naga, naga, bo, b, b, b. Let's also put a focus here so that we can see it better. Okay. So now I basically have exactly the same query that you had. Instead of lex UTF-8, I was using lex. And now let's download this. Download. And here's the file. Open with. I open it with LibreOffice. CSV, TXT files are always open with LibreOffice first because it always gives me by default the import options where I can ask in what you see here. Character set UTF-8. It always asks it right away. In Excel, you will have to do a Google search on how to do this afterwards. Yeah, you see we can use different types of things here. Yeah. So.
Gotcha.
Okay. So now basically I have the entire data set, which is super handy because I could now quickly identify what predicates appear more often. So here, filter. So I could now say, here, I find this many times the word L. Let me see whether I can make this bigger. Yeah, and B seems to be the standard. B is your most present valence, but you also have L and L, so they are present there too. So now you could think, is perhaps L, naga plus L, and naga plus L, are they the same? Is it perhaps the same valence? It's just a variation of that valence because it might indicate direction. Or are these actually two different valences? You now need to kind of look up the actual results.
Right, and compare between those two.
Exactly, yeah. In any case, the this export option might help you to get quicker access to the statistics, to the distribution of your phenomenon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that makes things a lot quicker.
Yeah, right.
Than just doing a word search and just sort of, looking at each one.
Good, then let me finish here with a general comment for the class. Friends, you've seen Scott and me here working a little bit on the assignment. You saw some of the issues that you might be running in. I hope it was helpful. If you have other questions and you are, like I mentioned in class, you're frustrating yourself more than 15 minutes and you're not getting a result, just drop me an email, leave it alone, and I'll try to respond usually by the evening. And then you can move on with your task. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Scott, for the time. and hopefully that was helpful for the rest of us. See you, Scott.
Okay.
Okay, that's it, huh?
Yeah, that was it. Thank you so much for just being willing to do that.
No problem.
That really helped. I don't